What's up, everybody? A very warm welcome to She once again, where we talk about issues affecting women and we also pat ourselves on the back in the areas where we know we're doing well. I'm Ajay. My name is Lillian Gidhui and I'm so happy to take us through yet another discussion. It's going to be a beautiful conversation. We are talking about work-life balance, the famous work-life balance. Does it exist? What is it? Can we access it? And with me today, I've got some amazing guests. On my right, I will start with Diana Ruchugo. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much for having me here.
In my favorite color, you are a public health and social programs expert.
Yes, I am.
And you'll be telling us a little more about what your work entails and about yourself.
Sure.
All right. To my immediate right is Jackie Wambiru. You're a journalist in a leading media station.
Yes, I am. Karibu
sana.
Thank you for having me.
Karibu. And to my left, it's Mimi Sigilai. She's a digital currency expert. And so happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Maybe I can start with you. Tell us, what does it mean, digital currency expert?
I am from the background of accounting and financial management, specifically investment banking. Very different from corporate banking, where you put your money and save your money, withdraw your money. This is where we multiply the money for you. So more specific, under digital assets, I sit under the global markets desk, where we do foreign exchange currency as an active trade, and we make the profits in between. Yeah, always learning, so really not an expert, but always learning.
You
Yes.
don't want to call yourself an expert?
Of course, I feel like in my field, yes, I am.
Okay.
But I'm always a student. I'm always still learning something new in the market. Yeah. There's always something changing. We have NFTs now. We have metaverse. We have crazy things, but we're always learning. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I was just feeling a bit tickled because I know many of us, when we hear crypto or forex, sometimes there's a tendency to think pyramid scheme.
Yes. Scam. The word is scamish.
Yeah.
Run away.
Yes.
Go away from all this.
Yeah.
Purely because I feel like in my industry there's a very big hype on how much money there is. It's like gas. It's like you can make so much money with very little investment, which is extremely wrong.
Yeah. And also in a short
period of time. Yes, which is not true. Yes, we do have leverage in our market, so we do make. I'm not bragging. We do make a lot of money, but also sometimes you also lose a lot of money. Most people don't talk about the losing side, and also the scamish side is because there's a lot of lack of information. So when it's very confusing. There's people who can take advantage of the loopholes and take advantage of you and then create this whole perception and scam you. Right. But yes, this is a space where you genuinely make genuine money.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good to know and good to meet you. And you're also a mom.
Yes, I am.
Yes.
I'm a young mom. I call myself a yummy mommy.
Yes.
To a very handsome boy. He turns 5 in March.
Yay.
A lot of my friends think we're best friends. He really is my best friend. Yes. And I thank God for him. I'm so happy and grateful to have my son.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being with us. Jackie Wambiru, journalist. Tunawaogopa nyinyi. Data collectors.
Yes, we're data collectors, but there's nothing really to fear about. What we try to do is tell the truth or try to give insight on what is currently happening. And yeah, so pretty much, when you say journalist, I'm a multimedia broadcast journalist. I'm a TV news anchor as well as a TV reporter. Yeah, and we try to bring light or shed light into what is happening currently in the society.
Yes. Karibu sana, and thank you for being with us.
Thank
All
you so
right.
much.
Diana Ruchugo, public health and social programs expert. You can tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do and also your family background.
Okay, great. Thank you once again for having me here. So public health really is a discipline that combines both science and art. And in this aspect, for the purposes of ensuring that people within the community, so we are not focused on one patient. The patient, quote unquote, happens to be the community, happens to be the people. So we look at what is ailing the community in terms of disease. What are the trends? How can we stop this? So most of it you'll find that public health specialists happen to be like social researchers, and because the impact that you bring forth into the community tends to bring a social impact. So for example, I'll give as an example using sanitation and hygiene as one of the ways to control a disease like diarrhea. So by encouraging people to wash their hands, by encouraging people to use toilets, you end up removing the impact of diarrhea, which is actually one of the leading killers amongst children below the age of 5.
Yeah.
So it's a space that I find very noble to be in, and I really do love being in that space.
It is.
Yeah. So in terms of family, I am married. I have 2 children, 6 and 9, both girls, and I'm excited at how fast they have grown. It was just the other day, I can be able to flash back and see them walking. And now we are in this space where we have to talk about, Mom, why can't I have my own phone?
Yeah.
Mom, I want to have a sleepover. Why can't my friends come over? Why can't I go? I've been invited for this party. And Mom, can you buy me a Tumbo cat? So it's an interesting space to be in right now where I am. Yes.
Yeah.
And
So
also
many
now in
questions.
terms of public health, COVID. So we are great. We are happy with the progress that the country has made. And as a public health expert, I encourage people to get vaccinated. Vaccination is the second thing to water when it comes to eradicating diseases.
Wow.
Yes.
Jackie, you are beautiful. You're in your late 20s and you are single. And I know that's the peak season of a woman's life where the aunties are like, Masa. How do you sometimes experience that feeling of, okay, I've got this part of my life together, but it looks like society is demanding more from you in another area of your life?
When I look at, for instance, if I go home, we have a gathering, a family gathering, everybody's there. Most of my female relatives, my age, most of them, either they have children or they are married, and then there's me, okay?
Yeah.
So now I'm the odd one out,
Yeah.
and everyone keeps asking me, so the aunties, so what's happening?
Yeah.
And I can tell that definitely they demand more from me. They maybe they look at how they'll compare me with my cousins, of course, the others, or what the neighbors' kids are, how what surrounds them looks like, and they expect more from me. They expect that at this age, probably I should have made certain strides in different areas of my life, but then I believe I should be able to take the steps, various steps in my life when I'm ready.
That's true.
And it's not easy to make someone understand that, or make my auntie understand. She will not understand what I'm trying to say or what I'm trying to get at. That's like a foreign concept.
Yes.
That's what I know.
And I've often found that sometimes with those aunties, you'd rather be in a dysfunctional marriage. In the way that they package it, kesi badai, get married. Yeah, because some of them who are giving you that pressure, if you look at their marriages that they're in and you're like, what? I'm not so sure about that. All right, the other thing a lot of people don't talk about is the impact that a child has on your career. It sort of slows you down. Would you say so?
To some extent, because it is demanding.
Yeah.
So as you walk through the journey of pregnancy, at some point, there's certain things you're not able to do. For example, if you guys work in a team, you're not able to do long distance travel. I mean, even by the time you've been cleared to fly, they tell you, no, your doctor has to clear you after 28 weeks.
Yes.
So you're not able to do what you could do like your male colleague.
Yeah.
So from that time, up to, let's say, the time the child is at the age of 1, really you lose like 1.5 years.
Yes.
Yeah, you sort of, because you're not at the same place. You have dramas for nannies. You have dramas for mtoto ana fever, come home right now.
Yeah.
So so transitioning from that high speed life
Yes.
and into this other one where there's this mouth depends on you,
Yes.
this life depends on you. That can seem like, it can look like actually that it's slowing you down, but guess what? You've just taken on a new ball.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, you've taken on a new ball, and this other person is just juggling one ball.
Yes.
But you have another ball.
Another ball,
Yes, that
yeah.
you're now learning how to juggle.
Yeah. I think I say that because I would want anyone who is, you know, single at the prime of your life and you don't have kids, just make it happen. You know, run as fast as you can, because there will be a year or two of your life when you will wonder, you know, because you don't even know whether that year will end. It usually looks like, where is this going to end? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so how are you able to juggle being a single mom and having a career?
That's actually a question I get asked quite a bit, which I owe it all to my support system. I am so lucky to be surrounded by such a warm, loving family. And then, of course, the nannies, the sisters, when you need to go on a night out or for work, or when you need to be trading continuously throughout the night, there's the support system. I definitely owe that to the support system. Another thing that has really helped with juggling that is routines. So it's babies are very, they're creatures of habit. So once you my son is on a routine. Once it's shower time, it's 6 sharp. You have to have eaten by 7, you have to be in bed by 8, automatic, even if I go anywhere. So it really helps with me not having to really follow through with him, and he's able to follow through for himself. So of course the support system, the routines, and also just intentionally saying, okay, enough of work and now it's time to actually bond with my son, or enough of bonding with my son and now it's actually time to work. Yes, because you have to really have that balance. Also just stepping aside from a lot of the chaos, because as girls, especially me who's single, it can be chaotic. You're going on dates here, you're going for work meetings here, you are traveling with your friends, your cousins are having rural shows. Like, it can be very chaotic. So sometimes just sitting aside and saying, okay, fine, let me calm down, listen to myself in the corner, listen to what my body actually wants, and then get the balance in between.
Wow,
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
You say it in a nice little package, but I know it does take a lot of, you know, you have those days when you feel like
Yes.
some balls are falling out of your control.
Most times, if not
Yeah.
times, some balls are always falling out. But like she says, after the age of 5, and that's what I'm saying, once he turns 5, it's a party. It's like after the age of 5, they're able to actually control most of the things for themselves. And at least if one ball is suffering,
true.
You don't feel so guilty.
I think to a single mom of a young child below 5, what I hear you saying is hang in there.
Hang in there, honey.
gets
It gets
better.
better. It
Yeah.
definitely does get better.
Right.
Yes.
And to you, Dana, Indra Nooyi, a very famous entrepreneur,
Yes.
former CEO of PepsiCo, she was saying in one of her speeches that her husband was asking her, how come I'm always last on your list? It's always the kids, school, work, you know, colleagues, travels, friends, in-laws. I mean, I literally come last. And she was like, you should be happier on the list. Have you ever had a moment in time when you felt like you were becoming strangers with your husband because you're being pulled from all directions?
When you're married initially, when someone asks you, tell me something about yourself, you say, I'm married.
Yes.
But when you get kids, you say, I'm a mother, and then wife. You know, you you define yourself
The
from
priorities.
The priorities change, and I think it's because of the demand of the kids and then him. So it is true, and my husband has pointed out not once but several times that he feels that yes, like Indra's husband, that there's this priority list, and he's almost in the bottom line of the list. So I tell him, actually, there's no list. And so the other time I was telling him, now that you mentioned it, I think we need to create a different routine, as she says, a routine that incorporates and allows us to interact more and just to be able to know how each other is doing. So when the kids are growing, when you have a demanding job, then there's this Nairobi traffic, there's I don't know what happening where you actually, it's very true because you feel like he's an adult and he can take care of himself.
Yes.
But he has needs. And he's hoping that you will take care of him.
Yes.
But for you, you're thinking, no, before I married you, you used to cook for yourself.
Yes.
You used to clean up. I mean, your house was clean. So how did you do all this? I'm just complimenting you. So because of that perspective, it's true that it's very easy to actually neglect, but you have to be intentional. And one way to help you to become intentional is by creating a routine. So you have like this standing date nights, whereby it can mean nothing but just you both leave work, and instead of going home, we meet at a coffee shop.
Yeah.
Just have coffee, find out how the other person doing, and then you go home. But it's true, I identify with what Indra said a lot.
All right.
Yes.
All right, guys, the conversation is going well, and we'll be back after a short break.
This Thursday on Historia, Tamaduni na Sanaa. Inspired by the cultural realm of Africa, the surreal works of Kenyan visual artist Basil Ngode.
I don't want to paint eagles. I don't want to do these things that with my eyes I can see them.
Also part of the show,
Attendance in school has improved. This is how we celebrate menstruation and not the other way around.
that's on Hitasa this Thursday at 8:30 p.m. on Family TV.
Welcome back. This is She, and my name is Lily. We are talking about work-life balance. Does it exist? Is there such a thing? And we're just talking with Diana before we left, and she was saying that you do have to also form a routine, even in your love life, in order to sort of try and get a grasp on that thing called balance. And is there such a thing as when the time is right?
For my story, when I was getting my son, it was actually a planned pregnancy. And it's actually hard getting babies. Most people imagine like you just get a baby, like you breathe in air and you get a baby. So it was a process, and I actually conceived. Unfortunately, it just didn't happen how we had planned. I still thank God how it happened. But you see, for me, in retrospective, 5 years ago, I thought the time was right. I'd finished school, I was happy, I have this amazing job, and I have these big dreams, and I'm ready. I'm fine. Everything will be fine. And then in retrospective, somewhere along the way, it didn't happen like that. So you then realize you really have to give time. Yes, no regrets thereafter, but one thing I learned from that whole experience, you have to be, it's you who dictates the time being right for your life and for your choices and for the things that you're doing. Yes, but yeah, there is something like time being right, or at least close to being right.
Yeah,
Yes.
you can come close. How are things different from how you expected them?
Yeah, just pretty much the co-parenting side towards the child. In terms of love and all those other stories, you find love along the way with other people or with yourself. You fall in love with yourself again. But with regards to my son, yeah, the co-parenting part is what is not exactly. It's actually not so much fun co-parenting. Yeah, but also at the same time, it's the best the child can actually get. So you sacrifice your egos, sit down, raise this child, and make sure your partners thereafter take priority is the child.
Sometimes the imagination is that after the couple separates, that's the end of that relationship. But I think when there was a child, it evolves, and you just have to, you know, the dynamics become a bit different from what you expected.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. In fact, I think co-parenting is such a fancy name, but it's actually so hard to, because you already have your own differences, and there was a relationship and a friendship thereafter that has broken, and then now there's a new whole chapter of madness, chaoticness, but sometimes you just have to become an adult and suck it in and be like, this is for the child. It's not as easy as the word co-parenting. We just make it look nice and beautiful because it's a lot of hectic things. So if anything, if you're able to wait, please wait when the time is right, so that you don't have to go through this chaotic stages. Because if I didn't pick myself up, I genuinely feel like my son would be the one hurting, because I'd be a depressed, sad, irritated, intolerable mom, and therefore I wouldn't pour as much as I'm pouring to him now. Yes, and then of course my priorities now are different. When you're co-parenting, you also have to respect the other end of the bargain. He also has to respect my other side of my life. Yes, it's not as easy, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah, it is. It is better than nothing.
Yes.
And big up to you.
Yes,
for,
yes, yeah.
It takes a lot of courage.
Yes.
It does take a lot of courage.
Yes.
All right, to you, Jackie. Your journey now, you're working, and of course there's guys who are interested in you. Do you have a way that you know who is genuine?
Being a public figure of sorts, okay, I don't know, being in the public rather, it comes with its fair share of challenges. So many people want to be in your life, but then who's authentic enough to be in your life, yeah? So you have to be able to distinguish who is for me, who is with me, rather than you're just there. Yeah. You're here because, okay, it's quite tricky.
Is there a way to tell? Is there a way that you know?
Oh, when you're in trouble, you will tell who your friends are always.
That's
always,
true.
Yes.
Have you ever
Like I
been in
said,
trouble and then someone came through for you, or didn't come through for you, and you felt like the expectation was different?
I'll say a while back when COVID hit, I was among the people who actually contracted it. That time when there was a lot of stigma. So that time, for me, I was a long hauler. So 2 months, I'm still positive, yeah?
Oh.
So within those 2 months, I'm home. You can know who your friends are. Or I got to know, at that time, I really got to know who my friends were. But I thank God, because out of that, you're able to shed dead weight.
Yeah.
And you move forward with the people who actually mean well for you, or who are intentional about being in your life.
Yeah. What I hear you saying is, even the down times of one's life are very valuable to achieve that balance, because sometimes you're not being able to balance, but it's because you're carrying around dead weight, as you've put it. You know, people in your life who they're just creating a buzz, but they don't really add value, especially when you need them to. Diana, the conversation we were having off camera was, love and marriage are two different things.
Yes, they are.
Tell us more.
So, love is a feeling.
Yes.
It's a feeling, and the interesting thing about feelings is that they just need a trigger, and the feeling can change. But in marriage, it's a commitment. It's a commitment. It's yes, till death do us part. And what is this death in our marriage? Is death when you become sick? Is death when you become broke? What exactly is it? And does the other person also perceive it like you do? Because when you get married, you become one flesh. But with love, you can always love other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can always change how you feel about someone. I mean, you can define. So I find that what I see is that people feel that love should be the key ingredient to actually get into marriage. But I feel that when you look at it from that perspective, you completely lose the picture. Because it's all about commitment to this one person, commitment into let's make this thing work. And what exactly are we making it work? It's you have your dreams, you have your fears. Can I relate with them? Can I contribute into them? Can you contribute into mine? So walking that journey of life together. And you know, the interesting thing about life is that when you guys are both starting, there are certain things that, and I think God is mysterious in his own way, there are certain things he hides from you. I've seen people who've gotten married and there are no children. So is love finished? You know, I've seen people who've gotten married and immediately after someone is taken ill. And you're like, oh my God, I have to take this person to and out of hospital. And there's all this new responsibility. So the happily ever after that we read, especially girls as girls, from Cinderella, Snow White, all those things, it starts fading.
Sleeping Beauty, the one who was sleeping and everything just worked out for her.
Exactly. It starts fading, and all of a sudden there's this new perspective. And then guess what? Marriage also brings his own people. And I also tell people that the interesting thing about marriage, if there's a pet peeve that you don't like about him, marriage will amplify it. Because he's in your space every day.
And having a supportive spouse, I'm sure, it has made it that much easier for you to balance out your life, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. Because initially, I think it was crazy for me. Both of us were traveling. When we got married, I think I was in school. Actually, right now, I'm in school. I have not finished. I'm doing my PhD.
Wow.
So it's interesting because I had to go for, in fact, when I was told I have coursework, I couldn't believe it. I was like, where are there coursework for people like us? We don't need coursework. So I used to go to class every evening. So he'll be the ones left with the kids. So he supported me through that time because I had Saturday class. And can you imagine going back to start reading again?
Yeah.
It's different. It's not like when you were younger. It's, you have work, you have KPIs, you have target, you have kids, you have your own things, you know, because you start feeling like you're getting lost. So support is important. Really, it is important to making a woman successful, and also for him, because they say that if a man pulls you down, guess what? He goes down with you.
That's true.
Yeah, he goes down with you. He does, because you can't pull me down when you're up.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that means you're down. So you will go down, down, down together. So
Yeah.
we both are at the same place. Yeah, but when someone is rough, you'll find yourself rough.
Rough also.
Yeah, you'll also be rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
just
that, I
walk
think
away.
that's how support sort of like mirrors each other for both people.
I love that.
Yeah.
It does mirror each other.
Yeah.
Jackie, late 20s, I think for me, I see it as a prime time of your life. You know, you can do as many things as possible. What would you say as your closing remarks in terms of achieving work-life balance at that time of your life?
For me, it is key for you to understand that sometimes it's tricky to achieve work-life balance because work may be more demanding. So at times also your personal life may be more demanding than your career. But being intentional, remember that at the end of the day, you have to ensure your mental well-being is okay. At the same time, you have also to ensure that when I look at work, give it your best while you're there. Yes?
I love that. Yeah.
And then after, also make sure there are boundaries. Boundaries like, these are my hours for working.
Yeah.
Then this is my personal life. And I have to ensure that it is, if it's enjoyment, like you say, going on dates, going out, okay, ensure also there is time for that. What you define as fun is, there's someone defining fun is going to sleep.
Yes.
If that's for you, make sure you slot that in.
Yeah.
So that at the end of the day, what you ensure that you're productive enough, what you give out to the world, then that will help you. Also taking vacations, if it's about work, take that 1 month leave, take it. And plan for it, do things, you know?
Yeah.
And just enrich your life. If it's work, enrich it. If it's off work, enrich it.
Yeah. Enrich
Balance.
off work and on work
Yes.
as well. All right. Your final comments about work-life balance.
If you want to go fast, you can go alone. But if you want to go far, you could go with a team. So for me, when it comes to the work-life balance, I seek help as much as I can. It's definitely getting a team, supporting this team, empowering this team, ensuring that they're able to duplicate what I have, the skill set that I have, so that we could go further as a team. Of course, yes, the routines, and also just putting God first and believing that He will always, He already has the plans in foresight for you. So inevitably, as you're doing all these things, it's not by my might, it's just by His will that I keep forging through and getting the balance in between. But for sure, teamwork, praying, keeping my routines, keeping my promises to myself. This year, for sure, self-care. For me, self-care is everything. Just little silly things like my nails, a massage, my hair, those little things that we take for granted, ensuring that all those categories are covered, then I feel the balance. I'm healthy, I'm eating healthy, I'm reading books, I'm wiser now, my friends are happy, my parents are happy, my child is happy, everything is just balanced.
I love that.
Yes.
Everything is just balanced. Thank you, Mimi. Thank you, Dee. And thank you so much, Jackie. You've been watching She. My name has been Lilian Gidhui. See you next week, same time, same place, and have a balanced rest of the week. Good night.